More than 100 people took the time to look at my channel, and you know what that means. I gotta take time to make a 100 subscriber special. Okay, but seriously, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel so far. You are all so great. I mean, you all took the time to subscribe to a random person's channel. You're interested in what they have to say, and I promise I will not let you down. I'm going to put up some future material. It's all going to involve my reviews of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 5. But I also know that there are a couple of people that I've talked to who are wondering about my rants towards other members of the Brony analysis community. So for all intents and purposes, let's talk about what I'll be featuring on my channel. And because this is a special, I wanted some special visuals on screen while you're listening to me talk. So I've got my gameplay of the Final Fantasy XV demo on screen. I got it a couple of weeks ago, or at least a week ago, because it came out on the 17th. I'm playing Final Fantasy Type 0 in my free time, and I got a chance to play the demo too, and it's good. I had a lot of fun playing the demo, and I apologize that I can't have an hour worth of gameplay or 2 hours worth of gameplay because, you know, it's just, I can't risk the video being too long because, that's not what you're here for necessarily. But I digress. Let's talk about what I'll be featuring on my channel. First off, I've got, I'm going to be reviewing, episodes throughout Season 5. I'm going to probably do a first impressions of my thoughts on the episode on the day that it comes out. And when there's footage that I can use for the episode review, I will probably post it the day after the episode airs. So every Sunday, I will most likely be posting an episode review. And in the meantime, I am making my video rants towards 6 specific reviewers. They are Cuddlepug, Lethal Aurora Mage, Golden Fox, Tommy Oliver, Digibro, and Biter. I just wanted to give people a heads up that I will be making rants towards members of the Analysis League that I strongly dislike, to have an understanding of what I don't like when it comes to reviewing the show. And to even it all out, I don't want to come across as that guy who thinks that I'm better than everyone else. So I'm also going to be making a number of tribute videos to members of the Brony analysis community that I like and also highly respect. There's the mysterious Mr. Enter, there's Josh Scorcher, there's Dr. Wolf, of course he'd be up there, Voice of Reason, Any Pony, and Drowning in Horseshoes, and I think there was this one other one that I was going to make. I'm going to have to figure it out when I have the time. About my dislike for each of those 6. Obviously, I gotta start with Cuddlepug because he is the most... Out of all the ones that I dislike, he is the one that is the least known, despite the viewership that he gets on DeviantArt.com. And I first came across him when I was looking up reviews for Season 4. I was actually really astonished by how bad these reviews are. And I ended up looking up other material on his channel, and I realized that, wow, he is very bad at this. I mean, it's not that I disagree with which episodes he likes and dislikes. Even when I first started reading his reviews, I could tell that there was something that I just didn't like about them. Something about the way they were written, as if they were being too objective, like the person who was making this review is some kind of elitist. half the time he just missed the point of the episode. Like, I'm looking at what he thought of Hurricane Fluttershy, and he's comparing it to Green Isn't Your Color, and he's saying that the episode is a rehash. How is Hurricane Fluttershy in any way a rehash of Green Isn't Your Color? I mean, we got Fluttershy being bullied at school. We got her overcoming her fears of being a less competent flyer than other Pegasi in Ponyville. We never got any kind of issue like that in Green Isn't Your Color. It just feels like his review of the episode was heavily misinformed. I also saw that he was making a comment about how the show's quality went down when Lauren Faust left production. Now, this is easily one of the most annoying dramas that have surfaced in the fandom, that the quality of the show went down after Lauren Faust left production. Now, I'm going to quote the mysterious Mr. Enter for a moment. What has Lauren Faust offered that no other member of the staff has? So far, no one has given me a clever response or a response with holes in it. It just feels like every single explanation that I've come across explaining why Lauren Faust's production was the key to the show's quality, none of them make any sense. Like, we still got some bad episodes in season 1. We still got some out-of-character moments, and I think the season was going through some kind of identity crisis at the time. Like, it wasn't fully sure what it wanted to be. And, I've actually seen the comments of his supporters, and they are easily just as insufferably annoying. Like, every single time I saw a comment being left on his reviews, they were all talking about the exact same thing. They talked about their disinterest in the show, how they think it's bad, they think it's become a marketing ploy, why did Lauren Faust leave production, season 2 and 3 were bad seasons. Man, I cannot get over how ungrateful these assholes are. What I dislike the most about Cuddlepug is that he really does feel like an elitist. He just thinks that everything has to be done the way that Lauren Faust would have wanted it to be done. Like, what is being done in seasons 2 through 4 that aren't good, or something that Lauren Faust wouldn't approve of? We still got some good character development, we got great episodes, we got some good songs, we got good animation, and we honestly got a really good season. Season 4 was a really big game changer for the show, and by the end of the season, we learned that they actually knew what they were doing. It all came together in the end, and it shows that they're really stepping up their game. I just think that, for whatever reason, Cuddlepug is never fully happy with anything that has been going on in the show since Lauren Faust left production, and I just heavily disapprove of this. Why is he still watching the show if nothing about it satisfies him anymore? I mean, he outright admits that the show went down in quality immediately after season 1 ended, so he's not watching it because he enjoys it. He's watching it out of some sort of elitist obligation. He feels like he needs to watch the show. He needs to talk about how it's become horrible and how it sucks now and all sorts of crap like that. And it is just getting so repetitive. And it's also annoying to know that he's not the only one who believes this. I mean, we all know that the Brony fandom has gone through all sorts of phases, and Cuddlepug is far from the only few who have gone through these phases. Now, about Mage. Now, I don't even know how I can call her a reviewer of this show. I mean, it's not that she hasn't reviewed anything, but she has hardly reviewed any episodes. Maybe there was something that I missed or something, I don't know. But I have looked all over the place, and the only episodes I've seen her review are the pilot episode, one episode from Season 1, and her other 3 are episodes of Season 4, 2 of which were collabs. Like, forgive me if I'm assuming too much, but a reviewer is someone who is able to review this show annually. Like, they're able to get their review out at least every couple of weeks, at least once a month. Like, we are in 2015, and she still has only 3 reviews up for Season 4. And as for her style, I'm not going to say she's the absolute worst at reviewing this show, but she is in my top 3. There are a number of reasons why she's bad, and the first one is the most obvious. I know that there are people who have complained and constantly bitched about what they believe is wrong with the show nowadays, but my God, she is a whiner. And she doesn't just talk like a whiner, she sounds like a whiner too. I swear to God, half the time she sounds drunk, like she's talking in some kind of slow motion. She's emotionless, and even if you take that out of context, she's just not a good reviewer. She doesn't sound like she cares about what she's talking, and her pacing is awful. There are times when she talks about one thing for extended lengths of time and it goes on needlessly long, and then other times she'll just say that she liked something, but she doesn't go into enough depth of why she liked it. I mean, I know that there are a couple of things that you can't talk about for too long because there isn't much to talk about them, but you at least got to give us some kind of explanation as to why you felt like you liked this particular part of an episode. I mean, we all know about how she feels about Pinkie Pie in Season 4, but that's not the only problem or even the main problem with Mage. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people who would probably get upset with her the way she threw shit at Pinkie Pie. I just think she is a horrible, horrible reviewer. And she is nearly the very archetype of everything that is wrong with reviewing My Little Pony. She is emotionless, she doesn't sound interested, she doesn't sound interesting, and she just sounds like she's whining all the time. And I'm not the only one who picked up on this. I saw the way people talked about her in Silver Quill's review of Leap of Faith, and they just keep talking about how much they disapprove of her reviewing style. And I can't blame them. I mean, after everything I saw, everything she talked about, one of the criticisms that she made that didn't make sense was how she was complaining about the ending to Simple Ways. She didn't think, well, at least she said Rarity was the one who was supposed to learn her lesson. Oh, I mean, it's not like we can acquire a fucking clue that maybe Rarity is explaining this lesson to Trenderhoof that she was supposed to learn because, oh, I don't know, she did learn it by learning it from Applejack. Welcome to basic problem-solving, ass-face. Now, forgive my language, but I just really don't like her. That's all. Golden Fox, I'm gonna be fully honest. I did not want to hate Golden Fox. I honestly wanted to like something about him. I mean, he really did seem like he was doing fine. But then over time, I started to realize, yeah, this guy really sucks. First of all, the way he opened his review of Testing 1, 2, 3, it just comes out of nowhere, and when you find out that this is actually how he feels about Season 4, I mean, He made an earlier video stating that he didn't like Season 4 very much and it was just disappointing to him, but this is how he starts one of his episode reviews. He literally begins with stating that Season 4 is turning out to be a bad season, and this isn't just by watching some of his videos. I've seen his comments. He comments about how the Equestria Games was anticlimactic. He comments about how the dilemma that Scootaloo went through in Flight to the Finish will ultimately turn out to be pointless if there isn't a focusing narrative throughout Season 4. And the one that really doesn't make sense to me is how he describes the keys as simply being symbolism of their elements. Yeah, the very first episode of the series contains symbolism of their elements, you idiot. And I know that he's not as negative towards Season 4 as other members of the Brony analysis community were, and I know that he has made apologies for being too harsh on it, but here's the thing. How many times has Golden Fox made a mistake? How many times has he apologized for letting his emotions get the best of him? He apologizes for being too harsh on Amy Keaton-Rogers and promises to be more optimistic towards his episodes. What does he do? He starts his review of Testing 1, 2, 3, which was written by Amy Keaton-Rogers, with a rant on how horrible Season 4 is to him. He apologizes for being too harsh on Season 4. He made a rant towards Rainbow Rocks that he believes got people to unsubscribe from his channel. And I know that there are people who have subscribed from his channel because I saw how one commenter stated that he has become more cynical than Digibro. And I gotta say that's an accomplishment when you get someone to say that you have become more cynical than Digibro. It doesn't matter how many times you apologize for your mistakes. If you keep on making mistakes that get people to unsubscribe from your channel, that is simply inexcusable. Okay, I gotta hurry this up because I'm running out of time. Tommy Oliver. I've actually heard a couple of people disapproving of him, and after I saw several of his reviews, I could see why. Now, it just feels like, I don't want to make too many assumptions, but it feels like he is being completely biased towards an episode based solely on which character the episode was about. I mean, I saw his Q&A on Philly Vanilli, and one of the things that he thought would have been a lot better about Philly Vanilli is if the episode was about Sweetie Belle instead of Fluttershy. And after I learned that Fluttershy was the least favorite of the main six, it just felt like he would have given the episode a positive review if it didn't focus on Fluttershy, but if it focused on what he believes is one of the characters that are in his number 2 spot in his favorite characters of the show. And I actually saw another comment that stated, what if the Equestria Games was a Rarity episode? He probably would have been like, oh, this is one of the best episodes of Season 4 because it focused on Rarity and not Spike. And it just felt like it really felt that way. Like, if the episode was a Rarity episode, he actually would have talked about it instead of bitching about how it wasn't what he wanted it to be. Now, we all know about the drama concerning people's feelings about the Equestria Games, and Tommy Oliver is unfortunately one of them. He complains about how the Equestria Games is simply a bad episode, simply because it didn't focus on the Equestria Games, which could probably very well be forgiven if he bothered to talk about a single other thing in the episode. He didn't talk about Spike overcoming his confidence issues, he didn't talk about the presence of any other character in the episode, he didn't talk about what it was like to revisit the Crystal Empire, fuck, he didn't even make a comment on the embarrassing song sequence. Shortly after that, I saw him making 2 comments on 2 other videos. One was his Has Analysis Damaged the Fandom video, and the other was on Digibro's review of Twilight's Kingdom. And both comments just talk about how he feels like he's done with the show. He doesn't like it anymore, and he's just become so obnoxiously elitist towards it. Like, he comments about how the show has lost some of its luster in his eyes, and how he didn't talk about the songs in Twilight's Kingdom because he thought the songs were junk. Okay, here's my problem with this. Tommy Oliver is a reviewer. His job is to talk about what was in the episode and what he thought of the stuff's quality. When he's saying that he didn't bother to talk about something because he thought it was junk, that is stating that he is now going to leave out certain aspects of an episode based on what his perspective of what is junk. I mean, I saw Biter's review of Twilight's Kingdom, and he at least made some kind of comment, some kind of statement on what he thought of the songs. He didn't leave anything out, and he didn't give anything the passeroo. Granted, I didn't like it, but at least he talked about everything that could possibly be talked about. Sure, he did it badly, but he at least talked about it. And I think not bothering to bring something into the episode review for the sake of making it shorter just symbolizes how he really is just not satisfied with the show anymore. And that's not including a couple of other issues that I had with him, which I will get into when I post my rant towards him. Now, Digibro. What could I say about Digibro that hasn't already been said? He is nitpicky, he has this new style that just comes across as uninteresting, and it just feels like really unoptimistic and down in the dumps. Like, he doesn't seem to be fully enjoying himself when he's talking about it. He also tends to do cutaways a lot. I don't know if they can be called cutaways, but most of the time he goes on these long, drawn-out speeches about stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with the subject of the video. The video says that it's going to be a review of Leap of Faith, and instead he's talking about how YouTube is a bad employer. He also does this for a number of his other reviews. He goes on long-winded speeches, and it takes almost 3 minutes for him to actually start talking about the episode that is being featured in the review. Just felt like he was wasting time, and throughout the whole thing, he just sounded boring. I might have been more accepting of how much he went off topic if it wasn't boring, but it's just not fun listening to him talk about this kind of stuff. This is a review of an episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. If you want to talk about this kind of stuff, you can at least make a separate video. Like, if you want to talk about how you have problems with YouTube or how your family went through these kind of dilemmas, then make a video that is entirely dedicated to that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you're just making filler for a review. And that is something you do not want to do unless you manage to make it sound interesting or at least funny. And he's not good at that. Lastly, Biter. Now, everyone has talked about how much they don't like Biter. The mysterious Mr. Enter, Josh Scorcher, and a couple of their fans. I even got someone talking to me about how much they don't like Biter. And it's actually pretty obvious where they're coming from when they say that they don't think he's a good reviewer. I have seen all of his reviews of Season 4, and did he give a single positive review besides Pinkie Pride and Maud Pie? It just felt like throughout the entirety of Season 4, he was failing to make an interesting review, and most of the time he was making complaints that are practically non-existent. One of his criticisms towards Leap of Faith was that Big Mac was a gimmick character. Really? You're complaining about Big Mac being a gimmick character in Season 4, but you most likely didn't complain about he was a yes or no pony in Seasons 1 and 2? You cannot read a single one of his reviews of an episode involving Season 3 or Season 4 without coming across some kind of irritating nitpick. It's like suspension of disbelief does not matter to him, and I'm not saying that we should use suspension of disbelief to defend every one of the episode's flaws, but man, you gotta at least make some kind of hint that you're enjoying yourself while you're watching the show. It just feels like you're not enjoying watching the show, you're enjoying the idea of criticizing everything that you don't like about it. That's not why you became a fan of the show. You became a fan of the show because you like watching it. Alright, now I know I've gone out a long time about this, but this is simply a preview of the things that I'm going to be talking about when it comes to these members of the analysis community that I disapprove of. And it's not that they dislike certain episodes, it's just that their style of reviewing the show's later seasons makes no sense, and it's just completely insane. Like, you will not believe how cynical and uninterested they have become. And it really does make me upset that more and more people who became fans of the show since the first days in season 1 are turning into these kind of people. They are just being ungrateful, unsatisfiable. Nothing the show has done in recent years seems to make them enjoy themselves. But that's all I can say for right now. I just want to say again, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. You are awesome. I hope you really come to appreciate what I have in store for the future. Thank you for watching this video, and feel free to subscribe for future content if you're new here.